Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the June 18th regular meeting of the Cohasset School Committee. Will all members who are present please indicate so in roll call? Mr. Dial?
Present.
Mr.
Virtually.
Evans? Yes.
Corey Evans virtually present as well.
Ms. Hannah is not present. Mr. McClellan is also not present, but Ms. Lesky is present. So we do have a quorum of 3 members, so we'll call the meeting to order. Will those who are present and able please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, thank you, everyone. This is my first meeting as chair of the Cohasset School Committee, and I can only guarantee you one thing, and that is no other meetings will start as late as this one. So there we go. It's a low bar to aim for it to start with, but that's where we'll go. I wanted to congratulate all of our students on their graduation from their current grades moving forward to our preschoolers out there who will become kindergartners soon, and to those students who will be entering our preschool soon. Summer is an exciting time for students. It's an exciting time for teachers and administrators as well, even those who are working through the summer. It's a quieter time to sort of reflect and to get ready for the year ahead. And so thank you to all of you who made this a wonderful year, and congratulations on a well-deserved summer. We will move on to the public comment section, and a reminder that this portion of the meeting is reserved for topics not otherwise on the agenda. If you would like to comment on a topic that is on the agenda, please wait until that part of the meeting. Of course, please state your full name and address before addressing the committee. If you are watching the meeting from home, you can participate using the Q&A feature on Zoom, and you can access this meeting using the Zoom link that was shared with the agenda for the meeting. You can also find us streamed live on Cohasset 143 TV and on Facebook Live via Cohasset Live streaming. So I'll give that a second for any public comment. And it's also a very quiet time, more bike traffic than car traffic in Cohasset today. So seeing no public comment, we will move on to the invited guest section of the meeting. We have Mr. Brian Scott, Cohasset High School Principal, who will be introducing our new high school assistant principal. And we will also be reviewing the topic of cell phone usage at the high school and voting on policy for school year 25-26. Mr. Scott, will you please join us? And Ms. Harlan?
So thank you. I am thrilled to introduce Kate Darling. She has been a middle school and high school teacher, mostly at Boston Collegiate in Dorchester. She won the Sontag Prize for Urban Education. She has a ton of experience in things that we are about to embark on with the new strategic plan in terms of project-based learning, teacher evaluation, and mentorship, coaching. And so we could not have hit the jackpot more, so I'm very happy that she's with us.
Thank you. Welcome, Kate. Thank you. We'll be starting July 1st?
Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
It's right around the corner.
Yep.
Thank goodness.
Ready.
Wonderful. And do you have any questions for the committee? We are here to support you and help you get settled in as well. So if you need anything or have questions for us or want to say anything to the community at large right now, you're welcome to do so.
All right. No, I'm really excited to be here. I've spent, a few days here now already meeting staff and students, and everyone's so amazing. And the team seems really great. Got to look at the, strategic plan and the report that Brian had sent me, and I'm really excited to dive into some of those areas of improvement. I've spent a lot of my time at Boston Collegiate working with teachers to incorporate more deeper learning in their classrooms and to get students to take more ownership. And so I'm really excited to bring some of that experience here. I also have a lot of experience with restorative justice, which I know is an area that we're looking to incorporate more of. So I'm excited, and everyone seems really amazing. And thank you, everyone, for welcoming me.
Thank you. Corey or Lance, if you have anything you would like to say, please do so at will.
No, I'll just jump in since I guess we're both remote. So thank you very much and welcome to the school. Sorry I couldn't be there in person to greet you. But very excited to have you and looking forward to the impact that you can have with us. So thank you.
And I'll echo what Lance just said. And again, apologies for not having more people there to meet you and greet you in person. We will make up for that.
Well, thank you. Mr. Scott, I think we can then just sort of move right into the cell phone usage in the high school. And if you would just sort of very, very briefly sort of give us a quick overview and what you're looking for from the school committee today, and then we will move forward with the motion.
Sure. So we, on the heels of reading The Anxious Generation in the fall, we developed a committee probably of close to 25 or 30 people that involve parents, teachers, students, administrators, school committee rep, and kind of went through what we were looking to do to help address some of the issues that were presented in the book. We conducted a pilot program for about a term, 1 quarter, I should say, for the 3rd quarter. And we got some pretty good feedback. We saw a lot of benefits. We saw some practical challenges that the students pointed out. And there was a little bit of a divide in the committee as to whether or not we wanted to only ban phones or restrict phones in classrooms, or if we wanted to extend that through lunch and through break. And so the committee was a little bit split on it. We brought it to school council, and they weighed in a little bit more. We had some more student input there, as well as some parent input. And really the voice of both committees said, well, this is really a community issue. Let's throw it back to the community and see what the general public thinks. And so really, I guess what the 2 proposals are is to allow phones during break and or lunch, or in passing time, or to have phones restricted for the entirety of the day.
Would another way of saying that be a full restriction of phones during the school day, or just a restriction during class time?
Yeah,
Is that
I think that's
accurate?
fair.
Because I think then we're talking about 2 ways much restricted.
Class and utility.
We'll start with the school committee comments, and anyone in the public who is watching and would like to make a comment, now would actually be a good time to type your question in so that we can get to those as well, if they exist. So Mr. Dial, would you like to start?
Yeah, so I know, thank you very much. And this is obviously really important. And I think it's important for our school our school system to be thinking about these issues, because technology is changing. And I often tell people that, in my view, the childhood experience that our kids are facing today is one of a unique set of facts that is so far different than what we had as kids that it takes a lot of thinking to figure out what we should do next. So I think that we've had this pilot program. I guess, Principal Scott, it wouldn't hurt if you could just refresh for us and for the public kind of the not necessarily the program itself, I think we got that, but just your findings from an administrative standpoint and any feedback that you've had from kids. And then, I don't want to go as far as say a recommendation, but just what are your thoughts of the results of the pilot, just so we can have that fresh in our mind as we're deliberating tonight.
Yeah, I think, in general, it was well received. I think there was a little bit of a learning curve on the part of students and on the part of parents. But I think a lot of the practical challenges that we faced in terms of communication, particularly with home, can be remedied. The way we communicate with students, whether it's sports teams or clubs, or even classrooms, I think can be amended in order to fit that in. I think a couple of things that the students brought up in some of their survey data was replicated in the European study that we shared as well, where some of the online phone activity stopped during the day but transferred to after school hours. So the total use of cell phones didn't quite go away in terms of social media. It was just shifted to more of the evening when they were catching up on snaps or Instagram posts or whatever it was that they would typically have in school. There was some concern about safety, although I don't really think that's an issue from my perspective. I actually think less is more in those situations, because the teachers will have phones and would be able to communicate with me directly. So I don't see that as a particular challenge. There was some issues with what they saw was an over enforcement of the cell phone policy from teachers that they might not have known, who were then on them if they saw them in the halls. They didn't like the way that relationship would kind of develop, so we need to do some work on that. And I think that practical issue of being able to enforce it in the hallways and during break is going to be challenging because we don't have the staff to really man that effectively. So as long as we go into it with our eyes open, if that's the direction we want to go, we just need to know that it's going to be a slow curve in terms of discipline. It's not an approach that I want to take that I'm going to immediately assign the student's attention. It's going to be more of a conversation first, and then we'll build up from there if the student's a repeat offender. I think one of the biggest things was that it really needs to be, if we're really looking to change the impact that the phones have and social media in particular, it's really not the texting or the communication piece. It is social media itself, and that's going to need to be complemented by some efforts at home.
Mr. Evans?
Yeah, so a few weeks ago, I referenced that on a macro level. I do think that the discussion about technology and how children learn is one that we are going to have again, kind of in reverse. And I'm a big fan of that conversation and a big fan of the full restriction here. I've had some great conversation with parents, especially of I have my two are still before Deer Hill, but the parent groups that we talked to, or I talked to, they all expressed eagerness to have their kids in a class, in a school that wasn't full of these distractions. They saw that as a good way to reinforce some behaviors that they had at home as well. So, and the last thing which the principal mentioned 3 weeks ago that really stuck in my head was the fact that this pilot program expired and that behaviors didn't immediately go back to how they were before the pilot program. And I think it's hard to understand what's a need versus just what's a habit, something habitual. And once we broke the habit, it seemed like things were good. And the fact that it didn't come back immediately means that there wasn't some sort of latent need that we were ignoring. And I do think that there's, I've only feel more strongly about what I expressed 3 weeks ago about supporting the full restriction in this case. And I agree, and I also expressed at the time, but I agree that enforcement will be challenging, but I do think you set standards and you set expectations, and then you let everything flow through that and you let administration figure out the best way to deploy it. So that's what I got.
Thank you. And I will just say, I feel very similarly in terms of phones being away, giving students and teachers that opportunity to really just engage. Those little goodbyes out the door, the hellos in the hallway, I think they're more likely to happen when the phones are away, and also aren't then in the back of your mind, oh, I can't wait to get out of class because I want to check X, Y, and Z. The lunchroom for me is like absolutely, like I love that could be a tech-free place for our students. I think it's a great opportunity for them to really learn some social skills or to build on their social skills. They're all very apt socially, but to sort of continue to build that. And I also think that other schools are doing this successfully as well, that there are models for it, for this sort of, it's a way for the day, you don't need it, let's move on. So I appreciate, one, your willingness to explore and to also give it such a great process that allowed for input from all stakeholders, because I think that you got some buy-in. It sounds like there were some habits to break, but nobody was pounding down your door, I don't think, saying this is absolutely unfair, I can't live with this pilot program.
Yeah, I didn't see any of that. I saw a couple of students who were fairly addicted to whatever it is they're looking at.
Yeah.
I didn't have any real rebellion, and I think, as I do in most things, that students act on their best interests. At the end of the day, they might yell and scream, but they know what's best for them.
And they may have some gratitude at the end too. Who knows? We do not have any public comment. So at this point, I would be seeking a motion from the committee, either to approve a full restrictions on cell phones in the high school during the school day, or to limit that to phones being restricted just during class time.
I will move that we adopt a full restriction policy for the Cohasset Middle High School.
Do we have a second?
If I could make just a comment before we go to the second, just to preview, I am in favor of a full adoption, but before we before we do, given the community attention on this and some questions I've had from community members, I guess, and this may be another question for Mr. Scott. I guess, could you just give us your thoughts on the effectiveness of a classroom only versus a full restriction? Do you see any advantages, disadvantages to one versus the other, just for the record and for the viewers at home, I suppose?
Yeah, I don't know that I would phrase it as advantages or disadvantages. The challenges that we're going to have with phones is going to be outside of the classroom anyway. So the challenges I see are communications from home, communications from things like work. And I do think that there's a difference between a 9th grader and a 12th grader with a phone and what they are expected to be able to do with it in the real world. But I wouldn't necessarily say that there's an advantage or disadvantage to each.
You have a view as to whether we should have a full ban or a partial, a classroom only policy?
I think as long as we understand that the enforcement in those other areas is going to be difficult, I don't have a problem with the full ban. I don't have a problem with either one of them, really. I can see both sides of the argument, and I'm willing to go in either direction.
If I could add, I think that there's very likely going to be a decision at some point. I would be really surprised if it doesn't happen either for the next school year or during the next school year by the state to say that all schools through the high school level must be completely phone free. So they have been setting the stage for that. I think it's just a matter of time. I don't think it's an if, it's a when.
Yeah, I think the real issues are in the details of how it's structured. I'm not a fan
So
of
I guess,
these, for example. I think that we can trust kids to do the right thing.
so I guess with the recognition that there might be some enforcement challenges, and with understanding, and you and Principal Scott, you would not turn our school into a enforcement battleground. I know you would be reasonable and judicious in the exercise of enforcement. And with that understanding, I second Mr. Evans's motion to implement a full cell phone ban for the schools.
Okay, so then at this point, we can take a vote and we'll do that via roll call. Mr. Dial,
Aye.
Mr. Evans,
Corey Evans, aye.
Ms. Leskey, aye. So the motion passes 3-0 with no abstentions. Thank you, Mr. Scott. Thank you, Ms. Darling. Thank you for all that you do to make CHS so special. And I look forward to seeing you working as a team together in 3 short months.
Great. Buy stock and watches. Gonna need them now. Thank you.
Thank you both. All right, so we are going to move on to Block D, our superintendent's report from Mrs. Sarah Shannon.
Okay, well, I can't believe I'm saying this, but welcome to summer. As you all know, yesterday was our last day of school for the 2024-2025 school year. It was a great end to the school year all around. There were celebrations, recognitions, and some tears as students said farewell to their teachers and vice versa. Overall, it was a great year where we made a lot of academic and district progress. I'm proud of what we accomplished this year. And though I'm grateful for the short break, I am looking forward to what's ahead for us next year. All of that said, I want to just thank everybody who was a part of our school year, from our teachers to our students, to our support staff, to families. We can't do it without all of you. And since our last meeting, where I recognize a lot of our sports teams, I want to follow up and let folks know that our boys and girls tennis team made it to the Final Four, which was a huge accomplishment. And both our boys and girls lacrosse teams made it to the state championship. Unfortunately, I did have to share texts with the superintendent in Norwell, congratulating him on both of those games. But both teams played their hearts out and played incredibly well. And the hope is that they're back there next year. And finally, as most people know, we are saying farewell to Principal John Mills at the end of this month. Principal Mills has accepted the job of Assistant Superintendent for the Carver Public Schools. I've had the good fortune to work with him twice now, and so we will be sad to see him go, but we are wishing him all the best in his new role. He deserves it and is ready for that next professional step. We have posted the position of middle school principal on School Spring. That position will be posted through next week. We've gathered feedback from staff and families around what we're looking for with regard to qualities and skills for the next principal. We have a search committee ready to go, and we'll be meeting for the first time next week to talk about process, with the intent of scheduling interviews for the week of July 8th. The plan is to have finalists named for the week of July 21st with forums for families and staff and students to come meet the candidates, and a final decision for a new principal, hopefully by July 25th. We'll continue to keep the community updated as we move through the process, but we are very hopeful that we will have someone who can fill Mr. Mills's big shoes that he's leaving behind. It's a hard transition, an important transition, but I feel confident that we will find a great candidate to move our middle school into the next phase. Those are all the updates I really have.
Thank you very much. Mr. Dial, do you have any comments or questions for Superintendent Shannon?
None here. Thank you very much for the update. It's happy end of the school.
Mr. Evans, any comments or questions?
Same thing, nothing to add. Thanks for the update, and look forward to hearing more about the new search.
I'd say thank you for the update and thank you for a great school year. We will miss Mr. Mills, but I'm glad that we have some time to find a replacement for him for the middle schoolers. All right, moving right along to teaching and learning report with Dr. Scollins.
Not too much to say. The end of the year was wonderful, and it was great to go around the schools. Superintendent Shannon and I ran around yesterday saying goodbye to everyone, and classes were still writing. We were a couple of times, they were still working. But it was wonderful. It was a great year. Just so families know that progress reports are already posted in Aspen for those in elementary, and for the middle and high school, report cards will be posted on the 25th next week. And the student reports for any kind of benchmark assessments that happened K through 8, those are also already in Aspen, so you can access your students' reports. That's it. Just looking forward to doing some nice work over the summer to get ready for the fall. So.
Thank you. Again, Mr. Dial, do you have any comments or questions? Okay, thank you. Aiden. All right. Mr. Evans, do you have any comments or questions?
Good to hear. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Scollins. Can't wait to see what you come up with this summer. And so we'll turn to Ms. Susan Owen, our Director of Finance and Operations, with her monthly update. And I think we also have a gift to
We do, and
accept.
I will be very brief. I know we've been following closely the deficit for the FY25 school year. It is, as a result, at this point, the shortfall has increased slightly. It's gone from 704,986 to 713,806 through the end of May, due to help from the town and some shuffling between funding. Right now, our deficit is looking at about $149,000, big difference than what it was the end of May. So by the end of June, first week of July, that obviously that budget will be balanced and will be at a zero balance. We still have one more payroll, one partial payroll to go, and we still have one or two more warrants, which includes paying invoices and things and such, and any last minute things that come through. Probably have, had to do with graduation and things like that. So we're in a much better place right now. More to come for the next report. It would definitely be zero or ahead of the game, but it definitely will not be a deficit. So other than that, there isn't a whole lot to report. I did want to share few things if I could stand in my report. The e-bus, we have come to terms with the company and come to an agreement that we are going to terminate our agreement with the electric bus. So we gained, valuable insights throughout the process. It just didn't meet the expected outcomes for either party. Partly because one party went bankrupt and went out of business, and they're trying to support best they can through another division. But it just hasn't worked for us. So as such, we will see that e-bus go away. You also notice that all of our buses are parked here back at the high school again, which is part of our plan for next year's budget savings, to have them parked in a place where we can call home and we don't have to pay a fee for them. The other thing that I wanted to share that I thought was really nice is our food service director, Vinnie Cardone, last year and this year, did a senior barbecue. So I just wanted to share some good things. So, here's the food service senior barbecue. They had grilled steak tips. They had Caribbean barbecue chicken. They had pickled cucumber salad. They had Argentinian potato salad with cherry. You can see here that the seniors inline feasting. We had it outside behind the cafeteria. We had fresh watermelon. And again, this is our fabulous food service staff here at the middle high school. We definitely have fabulous food service staff at all of our schools. But this is the crew that actually put on the barbecue for the seniors. So I wanted, to congratulate them for doing such a great job. The kids loved it. We loved it. It was nice to see the kids were very excited. So good.
It was outstanding.
It's just, and what a great send off it was, so congratulations to seniors. As we approach the end of the school year, which we have, every effort's being made to close the budget in a fiscally responsible manner. And I sincerely want to thank all the administrators and staff for their continued effort, support to help reduce that growing deficit. I know it was painful at times, and they were very patient, and it's been a very challenging year. And hopefully we have a better year next year. The commitment and cooperation was greatly appreciated from all stakeholders. It really came together, and it took all of us to try to figure out what we needed to do. So thank you. And that's it.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Dial, do you have any questions or comments for Ms. Owen?
Yeah, first, Ms. Owen, thank you very much for all your efforts over the school year. This has been a very challenging budget scenario, and very much appreciate you keeping us apprised of it. One question is, we still are showing the negative 716. I think it is now, the increase of 8. What's the plan to close that, and by when does that need to be closed?
So we're working closely with the town hall. We still have one payroll left. So the big payroll went through today, and the town transferred the money that they had granted us at town meeting. So right now we're at negative 149,000. We still have to do some transfers from our revolving accounts. For example, food service every year helps us with our utilities. So there'll be a one-time transfer of some funding from food service going towards utilities, food service going towards a partial custodian. So, our facilities rentals will offset some of it. So we're in a good place right now with the minus 149. The last payroll should not be more than $40,000 to $50,000 is what we're projecting. It's a split payroll. So because of the week ending dates, that last pay will be mostly people that are on pay slips. And what days they work during 25 will be charged to 25, and then split whenever they work in 26 will be charged off to 26. So over the next few weeks, we'll know exactly what we'll be left with, and almost guaranteeing it's going to be a zero. It's going to be a zero balance. There won't be a deficit. We can't end the school year in a deficit, so there won't be a deficit.
Well, and you anticipated where I was going, so it sounds like we've got a plan to get to a zero. And many times in a school context, you're not aiming for a zero, but here in school budget, we are. So thank you for your help, and definitely keep us posted as it develops.
Thank you.
Mr. Evans?
That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Dial. Mr. Evans, do you have any questions, comments for Ms. Owen?
I would reframe Mr. Dial's comments to say we should aim for 100 and not over 100. 100% of everything spent is a good place to be. I do have a lot of questions, but one member taking up a whole school committee time this is not productive. So I would like to poke the committee on getting the subcommittees tasked, because having the finance subcommittee formed will then hopefully, I'd love to be on that, be a better use of time to have conversations between two people than just one. So I'm going to hold my questions. I have a list of them, and I've got a lot of documentation I've been going through, but I don't want to spend the time tonight on it, but I do want us to start moving forward on it. So poke delivered.
And Mr. Evans, you can at any time, call me and come in and we can sit down one-on-one and go over all the questions you have.
I appreciate that, but I also don't want. I don't think it's. I think it's better use of the committee's time and your time if we do it in the proper format. Having individuals kind of going on side projects, I've always found being slightly counterproductive. I don't want to contribute to that, so I prefer us figure out who's doing what and as the committee, and then we can, I think, more efficiently interact with you all. So that's not a comment on administration. It's purely a comment on how we govern ourselves.
Oh, great, that's, I appreciate that. Thank you.
And Mr. Evans, for what it's worth, I'd be delighted to serve on that finance committee with you.
I'd like to change my, but I'm kidding. Sounds
There.
Okay,
And then I believe you have a gift.
we do have a gift. Can you bring that up? So it's from the PSO. They have sent us a check for $4,050 for spring grants. All the requests came from Osgood. So you can see here, $2,500 was for a poster maker, $750 was for kindergarten scholastic, and $800 was for a reader's workshop. And I want to thank them very much for the generous gift and all their support over the years. They continue to support us in any way they can. So thank you. And I need approval and acceptance of the gift.
So if either Mr. Evans or Mr. Dial would like to make a motion to approve this gift, to accept this gift, that would be lovely. And if the other of you would like to second it, that would be great too.
So moved.
second.
Hey, all in favor? Aye. I guess
Got to
we
roll
do
call it. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. All right, Mr. Dial.
Aye, Mr. Dial.
Mr. Evans?
Corey Evans, aye.
And Leskey, aye. Please accept that gift. And I'd like to add my thanks to the PSO as well. They do so much for our district to enrich the life of teachers and students, from speakers to fun events like that. Little 8th grade dance was just absolutely adorable. Snapper Sneaker Day, parent education program, enhancing the PSO, the CHMS library. So thank you, all of you who do that work on the PSI. I know it's a huge group of people and you all deserve our thanks. All right, so that we're now at Block G, Community Relations and Communications. So if anyone, if either Mr. Dial or Mr. Lance, Mr. Dial or Mr. Evans has any reports from liaison reports, and that actually would be just you, Mr. Dial.
No reports from me. I think things quieted down with the end of the year, but looking forward to the reassignments and re-engaging with the community for next year.
Okay, I have no comments either, so or reports. We'll move on. We are now at that point in the agenda about school committee liaisons and subcommittee assignments. Mr. Evans, I just heard what you had to say, and I think I have come up with a decent compromise here. We have 2 volunteers who would like to be on the finance committee. I would like to say, let's go ahead and form our finance committee, but let's hold until we have a full slate of board members present to fill the other committee and liaison positions. Does that sound agreeable?
I don't love that we're doing it. I mean, yes, it's agreeable and it's completely reasonable. A stickler for policy, though. There's 5 of us. And I do feel like that, there's a bunch of other stuff we have to, as a committee, kind of get our stuff together here and show up as a 5-member board and get this done. Because I kind of feel like if we kind of pick and choose stuff, we'll just lose track of it. So I'm happy to, if there's an understanding that Lance and myself can unofficially do this, we can just go ahead. And then if other members, want to revisit the issue later on, when we do official assignments, that'd be fine. But I wouldn't assign us on it with a 3-0 vote. I'd rather have a 5-0. That way everyone's got a chance.
So
And-
why don't we
and I-
officially assign so we can start the business of that particular committee, because it is an important one, particularly as before we get even into the next school year and we're at the start of a new fiscal year.
Fair.
And
Yep.
we'll sort of take note that that this is unofficial. We'll have a full slate conversation about that, at which point it sounds like both you and Mr. Dial agree that there may be some changes. I'm not sure that there will be.
That's fine too. Yeah, absolutely. We're all on the same page. So that's
right.
just fine. Yeah.
No, that's perfect. Thank you. We do also have the business of the superintendent's evaluation tonight. So let me just pull up a few things right here. And so evaluating the superintendent is one of the roles of the school committee. And it's done collaboratively with input solicited from all committee members. And it evaluates our superintendent against specific measures and goals. We are absolutely so fortunate to have Ms. Sarah Shannon join our district almost a year ago today as our superintendent. The transition has been incredibly smooth. In fact, I would use the word seamless, as Ms. Shannon has gotten to know all of the inner workings of our district, the amazing educators and administrators on her team, and laid the groundwork for a new strategic plan and vision for the district. It should be noted that Ms. Shannon received ratings of proficient and exemplary across measures, earning an overall rating of proficient. I will read now this summative section of the evaluation into the record. Glasses. Ms. Shannon had a successful and productive inaugural year as the superintendent of Cohasset Public Schools. She masterfully confronted a daunting budget shortfall, quickly educating herself around Cohasset's unique systems and processes in order to conceive a creative, responsible, and professional solution that should serve the district well as we head into the coming academic year. While navigating difficult fiscal circumstances, Ms. Shannon simultaneously led the development of the district's new strategic plan, a process that took several months and required input from numerous stakeholders. In addition to the development of the strategic plan, Ms. Shannon fully embraced, supported, and strengthened the district's efforts to explore improvements to the secondary campus and buildings. In doing so, Ms. Shannon single-handedly redrafted the district's statement of interest to the Massachusetts School Building Authority's core program. Ms. Shannon has approached her new role with enthusiasm, professionalism, and humility, demonstrating a genuine desire to better understand the needs of all district staff. This empathetic approach has improved relations between district leadership and many staff groups, which will yield great long-term value as the district implements its new strategic plan. Ms. Shannon also seems attentive to the need for uniform hiring processes for incoming staff, especially the leadership staff, a fact that is evidenced by several hiring processes that took place over the course of the 24-25 academic year. Throughout the 24-25 academic year, Ms. Shannon placed student needs above all considerations and ensured that student perspectives were incorporated into every major operational decision. We are grateful for Ms. Shannon's hard work throughout the 24-25 academic year and are excited to see what the future holds as we move forward under her competent leadership. As the new superintendent, there we go. Thank you. So congratulations, Ms. Shannon. You have done an absolutely spectacular job leading our district from the get-go. I'd like to borrow one of your own terms, which is onward. So excited for the next year and many more years to come. I will take any comments from committee members if there are any. Mr. Dial?
Ms. Shannon, I wanted to express my sincere thanks, and I want to just give a recognition that I don't think one could have designed a more challenging entry to a superintendent position than what you were facing this year. We talked about the budget shortfall. That was very serious. That was a very obvious example. But we also had teacher contract negotiations. We also had developing new and better rates with our teachers. You have done everything you needed to do. You've hit your stride, and you've made the district a great district already. You've made it better. I think that you have a phenomenal job, and I wanted to give you my thanks and gratitude for what you've done. And as someone who was on the hiring committee for bringing you in, I can say that I am very pleased with the work of the committee. So I'm going to take credit for all of your fine work. And of course, I'm kidding on that point. But thank you for what you've done, and I look forward to the coming years.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Evans?
Yeah, just want to echo, obviously, congratulations on a very challenging but successful transition year. And now that the transition year is over, time to get to work. So I'm excited to see, with you fully aware of all the challenges, how this works. I think we've got a really interesting and exciting year ahead. So eager to start year 2. So thank you.
Finally, we have the approval of minutes, but we are unable to do so because we do not have a quorum. Only Mr. Evans and I were attending now at the meeting on 5/21. So we are unable to approve those minutes, and we'll move those to the next meeting. We do also have a reason to move into executive session, but I think that's challenging given our virtual format.
Yes.
So Superintendent Shannon, if it's possible to move that to a later date.
That's fine.
Okay, so we will
Yeah.
also be moving our executive session to our next meeting. So Cohasset, thank you. That was my first meeting as chair of the Cohasset School Committee. Hooray! It might not be the one that started the latest and will end the earliest.
Yes.
Do not expect the same going forward. So thank you all. Good night and enjoy your summer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will make a motion
I
to
think we have-
adjourn.
Oh, yeah, let's do
I'll
that.
second.
Otherwise, we'll be here forever.
See, I still need my handheld. Could I have a motion
Yep.
to adjourn, please?
Corey just did.
Okay, second?
I will, yep. I heard Lance say second.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so we have a, all in
Aye.
favor. Mr. Dial.
He said that.
Okay, Mr. Evans.
Corey Evans, aye.
Okay, Jen Lesky, aye. We are now adjourned.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good night.
Great job. Excellent. Right?
Go, Jen.